Hi guys, how is it going today? And welcome back to a new crash course. In this grid crash course, you will learn what grid is in CSS, and it's kind of similar to Flexbox. It's just that Flexbox is one-dimensional. It's either columns or row, while grid is two-dimensional. It's both columns and row. So in this crash course, you will learn different properties in parent and child. So without further ado, let's now get started. Alright, so first let's just create two files. One is index.html. Another one will be style.css. Okay, so here we just need to create the boilerplate. Will be exclamation mark and press on the tab key. So I'll just change this to say grid crash course 2021. And in the body, we will create class. So I'll just call this class equal to, give it a name, container, right? And inside this class, I'll also create some other div as well. So it will be just normal div. I would say, let's imagine this is like image1. Just copy this a few times. So it will be 2, 3, and let's just say 4. Okay, so now come to the CSS file. We will need to it will be the container class. So here just leave it as is, and I want to also use this container class, and we want to grab all of the div tag. So inside here I just want to have the try that background color right here. Okay, so I will just use the first one, Alice Blue, and down here I'll just give a padding maybe 10 pixel, right? And down here let's just do another one, container. We'll grab the div as well, but this one I just need to grab child. Let's just say this one is odd, and right here I'll use the background color. I'll just need to get the second one, so antique white, right? Okay, so let's just save this real quick, and now let's just come back here. We will need to insert the CSS underneath the meta here. So will be link ref equal to style seed href link to the style.css, and yep, that should be good to go for now. And I'll need to open this with the live server, and you can also install it here as well. In the extension, just search for the live server and have that installed. So now let's right click and open with live server. Okay, so it would look like this. And here you can see we have the image with the container. Let me just quickly try to explain you that again. So here we have the background color. Also, let me close this with the Alice Blue right here. And this is the child, which is the say like first one, the third one, the fifth one. Then it just choose this color, right? The odd one. Okay. So now let's just try to use the display, and we use the grid right now. So when I save it, here you can see that nothing's actually happened, and I want to use another property. So this will be grid template columns, and here I can just define, let's say I want to divide it into two. So it will just say the first one will be 30% and second one will be 70%. When I save it, here you can see that we have, this is the 30% of the screen, which is the first one, and the second one, which is the 70. I can also divide it into 3 as well. So let's say this one is 30, and right here we can just define this into say like 40. Okay, so now when I save it, here you can see that this is the result that we get, 30, and 40. So now let's just come back to the this one real quick, 70%. And I want to also show you another one as well. Let's just say I want to have the grid columns with the gap, right? I want to have the gap, so I just use 1m, and here you can see that we can get the space in between this, which is 1m, and I can also do the same for the row as well. So it will be grid row gap 1m, and when I save it, here you can see the same size, the space, which is 1m for both the column and the group gap. And if I don't want to use these two at the same time, there's one as well, so it will be the grid gap 1em, right? When I save it, the same effect takes place. So this is another one. You can just use this, which is quick, just like a shortcut, right? So here, come back to the index.html. Instead of the image, I want to use lorem. Let's just say 5. I want 5 words, and press on the tab key. So this is what I get. Let me also try to copy this a few times, put it down here. Let's just say 5 for now, and let's just put number in front of it so you can see which one is it. Okay, so when I save it, this is what we get: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And come back to the style.css, and here we instead of using the percentage, right, we can also use something like, say, fraction. So I'll just define this as 1 fraction, and another one is also 1 fraction. When I save it, here we can see that we get the same percentage, which is split in half of the screen, right? 1 and 1. And if I want to have like another one in between, say maybe 2 fraction in between, then when I save it, here we get the result, which is this one here, and this is 2, and this is 1. Or I can just also use like 1 like this, then it all have the same size, right? So it is recommended to use the FO or the fraction. Okay, so next I want to show you is to use the repeat keyword. So instead of having specify like 3, I showed you a moment ago, we can also do something like, say, repeat 3, and here we just use the 1 fraction, right? So we also get the same exact result. So what if I want to have like 1 and 2? So we can just come here and try to put number 2 here, right? 2 fraction. So here this is 1, 2, 1, 2, right? It will just keep repeating, okay? Also, the reason that you can see the space here, this is because we at the moment only have 5 of this, so that's why we see like it's blank space like that. Okay, so next I want to, now let's just go back quickly to this one, and we keep as 1 fraction each. So down here, instead of like using the height, I'll just use grid auto rows, and I can just specify, put a number, maybe 100 pixel. So when I save it, here you can see that we all have the same height, which is 100 pixel. So now let me come back to the index.html, probably in the third one here. Let me just quickly add more text like so. So when I save it, let me just put a little bit more so that you can see what's happening. Save it. Okay, so here you guys can see when there's a lot of text showing, it won't actually go to this line, right? It will just keep showing me like this, which is going outside of this box of these items, okay? So to fix this issue, we can use something called, go back here, and here inside the auto rows, we can just use this min and max, right? So the minimum will be 100 pixel, and the maximum, we just use the keyword auto. So we just automatically try to resize this for us. It will just fit all of the text inside here. When I try to add more text inside here, let's just say put a few more, then you can see that it won't go outside of this container or the box here, right? it will just stay inside, and it will just align based on this particular row. Okay, so this is the use of the min and max. So next one, let me just try to, maybe for now, let's get rid all of this. And for this one right here, let's just keep the original one. Let's just cut this, paste here, save it, and the same for this one as well. Okay, so back to this one. Now let's just take a look at the justify items. Okay, so perhaps I can just use the same one for now. So it would look like this, or maybe I can just add this one, change it to 1 fraction, 2 fraction, and 1 fraction. And okay, so down here, what I want to do is to use the keyword or the property justify items. Right here, we can just use, say, like start. So when I save it here, you can see that we have this space. Okay, so you can't really see it clearly when I try to use the justify item start. I just need to put this one right here in full screen. Here you can see that just align to the start position, right? So here, let's just say I want to change this to n. When I save it, here you can see it just aligned to the n, right? And we can also do the center as well. So we just align this into the center. And this is the use of the justify items. Next one, we can also do, let me just change this to start. We can also do align items, and the same, we can just use start. So this will just start from the top, and by here the end, and we can also do the center as well. Okay, so it would look like that. And by default, this use the scratch right here. The same for the align item as well. So they use this scratch. So this will, which we already seen earlier. Even though we don't want to use this, it still works just fine. It's the same thing. Okay, so next one I want to show you is to create each class for this div, right? Called item one, right? So just copy this, paste down here. Let's just keep the fifth one empty. Change this to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Save it. So here we can come to the style.css, and I want to use the item one. So here I want to use the grid items. So this is another one. So what this will look like is basically we can just start from one number or from one location to another location. Okay, so this would look something like, say I want to start it from the first one and to the third location, or the third one, right? So without s as well. Okay, grid column. And when I save it here, you can see that this is so basically, I think you guys already noticed this right here, the div, right? Save it again, and here you guys can see we have the grid columns with the starting from 1. So here is 1, and right here is 2, and this is 3. Okay, so here we start from 1 to 3. So what about if I want to expand this up to down here? So I can use another one called grid row. Okay, so this will be 1 slash 3. So this will be from the first one, okay, up to the third one right here. So let me just put this into full screen. This is what you can see, right? 1, 2, and 3 right here. Okay, put this back, and I think I want to also add the gap here as well, so that you can just see this a little bit easy. So will be grid gap, just use 1em. Okay, save it. Okay, so that look a lot better. So next thing will be with the items number 2. So here we have the grid column. Let me just define this one as number 3. Save it. So here you can see that actually nothing happened because for the item number 2 here, we start from number 3 up to the end. Okay, so down here we can just use the grid row. Let's just say the row is 1 from 1 to 3. Okay, so from number 1 right here up to the third one, which is 2, and this is 3. Okay, so this is what it looked like. And for item number 3, we can just do something, let's say grid columns, basically starting from number 2, right? So it will be starting from here up to number 4. Let's just do that. So 2 to 4. Okay, so this is number 3 from 2 to 4. And we can also put a grid row as well. So let's say this is starting from number 3. And here you can see that it just the row is just starting from number 3 and with automatically align for the number 4. The thing is that we haven't actually defined that. So yep, it would look like this at the moment. Okay, so now let me just put this into full screen. Here you can see this is the grid that we have by using the just a few lines of this. Okay, CSS code. So we have the, again, grid columns and the grid row, and this is quite useful when we use just a few lines of code and we get the result that we want, which looks something like this. This is the power of using that. Otherwise, back then when we were using the CSS, we were going to use some numbers minus some number of pixel to get what we want, like so. Okay, so with this we can just use the grid columns or grid row. And okay, I think let me just see if I can find another example before we finish this video. Okay, so last one here, I think I want to show you another one. So let's just say I want to okay, so just keep this, and for the items, let's just get rid of all of this for now. Right, get rid of this. And the container, we have the grid columns, we have the auto row, we also have the grid gap, and also another one I want to show you right here. This property will call grid template area, right? So this is another one. And here inside this, I want to say like the header. Also down here I can also have like say the sidebar, the content, also the same for this will be sidebar and content. Let's just save it. So here imagine that we have like the header on top here, and we have the sidebar on the left hand side and the content on the right hand side. The same for this one as well. So down here, let me just define each one. It will be the grid area. Let's just imagine the item 1 here is the header. Okay, so let's save it. And here you can see that we have this right here, which is the header. Down here, let's just say the item number 2, I want to have the grid area equal to sidebar. Save that. And item number 3, the same, will be grid area. We want to have this should be the content. Okay, so let's save it and make sure that, because right here we only define like 2, right, the area, so make sure that we want to also specify this only 2 as well. So 1 and 1 fraction. This will look like this. So we have the header, which is the item number 1, and for the item number 2 here. Okay, so this will be the sidebar. Okay, right here. And for the item number 3, this area, which is the content area. Okay, so this is what we can see right here, that we have already defined. So this is how we use the area, right? So next one here, I want to show you exact same thing. So instead of using the grid template area, let's just get rid of all this for this as well. Get rid of all of this. So item 1 right here, we can just use the property grid column start. We can just use like say number 1 here, save it, and here we can see we have this one. What about another one? Let's say grid equal to the columns n. So here we can use the -1. So when I save it, here you can see we get the exact result that I show you using the area, right? Imagine that this is the header. So what this does basically, it starts from number 1 right here up to the end. Okay, so -1 is up to the end, and this is actually equivalent to the this one that I already show you, which is the grid columns. Okay, so we can just comment this one out for now, and I can just say like 1 / -1 like that. So starting from 1 up to the end. Okay, so here we can see the exact result that we want. Next one I want to also show you, which is, so imagine that let's just comment this one out. We can use another one as well. So will be grid columns. We can use this keyword span equal to 2. Okay, so when I save it, here you can see that this is the result we have. Let's just also copy this and down here as well. So this will be row, and this will be row as well when I save it. So here we have 2 rows, right? So right here we also have 2 rows. So when we use the grid column with the span and 2 here, it will just expand this to the end, right? So we have 2. So you can see that the size here, the grid row, which is span 2, it will just expand this to 2, and the same for the third one as well. So what if the third one I only want to have like 1? I can of course change this to number 1, and this is the result that we have. So here you can see that this one right here, it's equal to 2 of this. Okay, so because we are using this, and what this one I want to change it to number 1. Here we can only see that we only have one particular column right here. Okay, so this is how we want to get the result that we want. Say imagine this is like the header, down here this is the footer, and this is the sidebar, and the content is here. Then we can just easily do that, and we just need to add the content inside here. Then the website will be created with using again only a few lines of code by the use or the benefit of using the grid, as you can see here. Also, if you want to learn more about grid, you can come to this website. This is the complete guide to grid on this CSS Trick website, right? So here, when let's just quickly look at this. We already look into the display here. This is the property for the parent and also property for the child. So let's just quickly look at this. We have the look into the grid template columns with the keyword using the repeat as well. Down here we have the other one. So this is just an example, right? So this is the header, the footer. We have the main, empty, or the sidebar. This is the grid template. And down here we can see we have the other option. We have look into the justified items here as well. So align items with the value of start and center, and this is the scratch by this is the default value. This is the place item, justified content. And down here, let's see what else. So here you guys can see we have a lot of property that you can try and apply into your project. So now let's just come to this right hand side here. So this is the property for the children. We also look into this as well, the grid column start, and here these are the items. Okay, this is some other example right here, and the grid area. Okay, down here we have the justify self. This is only applied to the children. Okay, these are the property for the children. And display self, and here there's a lot, as you can see. Just come to the website to learn more. So yep, I think that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that you learn a lot from this crash course. So if you have any question, let me know. Also like this video and also subscribe to the channel to see more content or more crash courses just like this one. Until then, see you guys in the next video.